Hey, what's up gang? Kawaii50 here with another Fake Grand Order video, and it is time to talk about one of the strongest servants to grace Fake Grand Order ever. We are talking Castoria levels of character right here. That new character is of course a member of the Tamamo 9 and one of our most hated enemies, or most loved depending on how you look at it, up until now, Koyanskaya of Light. We're going to be going over all of the necessary info you will need to know to make Koyanskaya a powerful member of your team, as well as a little bit of a tutorial on how to go ahead and buster farm with some example footage that I've recorded. Fair warning, my Koyanskaya is not 10-10-10 yet, so just use most of the footage as an example. We'll get to that in a bit though. Hopefully this video ends up helping you out, and if it does, be sure to go ahead, like, and subscribe. Koyanskaya comes equipped with 2 quick 1 arts and 2 buster cards with an AoE buster noble Phantasm. Her max HP of 13k is solid, as is her max attack of 11k. Her NP per hit and star absorption are also fairly average as well. Overall, she's got a pretty decent amount of stats when it comes to her kit, and to the uninitiated, she would seem like a pretty okay buster farming assassin, but that is not the primary use of Koyanskaya. No. Even though she is an assassin, she is actually on the levels of the caster supports of old, and when we go ahead and look at her skills, you will know why. Koyanskaya's first skill is Innovator Bunny rank A. This grants one ally a staggering 30 to 50% NP charge, and also decreases that ally's skill cooldown for 2 turns at the low cost of 1000 HP. Considering you're using Koyanskaya for buster farming, this is a very small price to pay when your entire team is not going to get hit at all. This is Koyanskaya's most important skill and the absolute cornerstone of using 2 Koyanskayas to buster farm. So we need to max this first. No matter how horrible your life becomes when trying to farm stakes, when trying to farm bullets, when trying to farm assassin gems, this needs done ASAP from the second that you summon her. You will save yourself so much time later on when you're farming by just sinking in the investment right now. Koyanskaya's second skill is Massacring Technique Human rank A. This grants one ally special attack against humans or enemies with the human attribute for 3 turns, and each of those separately stack. So 50% against humans, 50% against human attribute enemies. If they happen to have both the human trait and the human attribute, both of those stack together. This also increases an ally's noble phantasm gauge when using their buster attacks by 5 to 10%. Yes, you can finally get NP recharge off of your buster cards without the use of command codes at a solid, steady rate. Her first skill would have been incredible, but this, on top of that, actually makes Koyanskaya useful when fighting bosses even. This also grants 10 to 20 critical stars, cause why don't we just paste a critical star gain on top of that as well? A really far cry from intuition. This is still Koyanskaya's skill that we are going to level last, mainly because her other 2 skills are just so important. And Koyanskaya's final skill, the NFF Special, rank A. This grants 30 to 50% buster effectiveness for 3 turns, 30 to 50% buster card crit strength for 3 turns, and 3000 to 5000% buster card star gather rate for an ally for 3 turns. Again, another skill with properties that allows Koyanskaya to even be used against bosses. Really helpful, that buster card star gather rate, I promise you. We are going to go ahead and max this second for that buster card effectiveness boost, because this is going to make our buster noble phantasms hit even harder. Looking at Koyanskaya's append skills, Load Magical Energy is the skill of the day, works great on absolutely everyone. Koyanskaya is absolutely no exception. You don't even necessarily need append skills on her, to be quite honest though, because you're not attacking with her if at all possible. You are using her for her absolutely bonkers skills, but her Noble Phantasm is actually quite good, so it's entirely possible to use her as a backup attacker if necessary. That being the case, we want that Noble Phantasm to get charged ASAP.
では参りましょうか。これが皆様の努力の結果。愛らしい破壊の獣。霊障重工79式敵火大使。踏み潰してあげましょう。イズトゥーラセブンドライブ。
And yes, you just saw Koyanskaya's Noble Phantasm. Spirit Cannon Type 79 Disaster Blasting Shrine. This increases Koyanskaya's attack by 20% and activates before damage is dealt. This deals 300 to 500% damage to all enemies and also decreases the enemy's Noble Phantasm gauge by 1 as a little extra cherry on top. The overcharge effect for this NP is actually quite good as well. It increases the Noble Phantasm gauge of all allies by 10 to 30% based on level of overcharge. So if you want to use overcharge CEs on Koyanskaya for this effect, it is entirely possible and can totally be worth it, though I will be frank with you, there are other CEs that are going to be more important when it comes to throwing Koyanskaya on your team. So first and foremost, let's talk allies and then get into the nature of buster farming. So when it comes to Koyanskaya's allies, pretty much any, and I mean any, buster-focused servant is going to be who you're going to want to use. Koyanskaya is incredible when it comes to AoE buster farming, and 2 Koyanskayas is absolutely necessary when it comes to maxing out your buster farming potential. Though I'm sure there are people out there who are like, I don't have the absolute highest tier, most powerful buster farming servants. How can I possibly do this? Incorrect. You have one of the best buster farming servants in the entire game, and you received his first copy for free upon completing Fuyuki. Koyanskaya, I hope I pronounced that right, I think I'm pretty sure, is one of the top in-class buster farming servants in the entire game. So when it comes to exploiting your double Koyanskaya system, there is your freebie option. There is your potential. Use this doggo to the best of your ability and you will find an incredible buster farmer who you may end up taking to Bond 15 and beyond. There is, of course, another very important mention when it comes to enabling the double Koyanskaya system, and in that case, we are going to definitely want to mention Oberon. Oberon is insane. Oberon is still, little spoiler for my future video, is still, in my opinion, the best character that is getting released this entire year, and Oberon is absolutely essential when it comes to using some of these double buster farming setups because of his insane amount of NP charge that you will use on the 3rd turn. It is still possible to farm with a bunch of servants without an Oberon. There are plenty of people Koyanskaya farming right now with just 2 Koyanskayas, but this requires some additional bonuses. This requires the Atlas Mystic Code. This requires a K-Scope. Plenty of other powerful options that you really need to focus on. So getting an Oberon overall makes your life easier. Buster farming is not only the most expensive way to farm in FGO if we're talking rarity of servants, it is still one of the most reliable ways to farm in FGO because you do not need to worry about gaining Noble Phantasm off of overcharge. Your servant's skills, which will 100% hit all the time, are what helps carry the day. So let me provide you with an example of a buster farming setup. I wanted to show everyone something that I was close to being able to do. The main thing holding me back right now is, at the time of this example, my Koyanskaya didn't have her first skill at rank 10, but if she did, third turn was going to be super easy. You can see here on this first turn, I have popped Koyanskaya's buster skills, the ones both of them are using, as well as that middle skill as well, for a little bit of extra damage in case my enemies are human type. BB has a max limit broken kaleidoscope. Expensive, I know, but I'm just trying to show an example here. Please forgive me. We use that kaleidoscope to Noble Phantasm turn 1. Now that we are going over to turn 2, we are going to have our BB use her second skill to get 50% NP charge, and we're using BB's skill first. This is the most important and integral thing you need to know about buster farming. We pop those skills and then follow it up with Koyanskaya's Noble Phantasm charge to reduce the cooldown of all of BB's skills by 2, in addition to getting that charge. Then we Noble Phantasm. Now we go ahead and pop on over to the third turn, and on this third turn, we go ahead and use Koyanskaya to reduce the cooldown even more, on top of using our Atlas Mystic Code to add another 2 turns of skill cooldown to the mix. Then our BB can go ahead and charge. If my Koyanskaya had their first skill at 10, that would have been an easy turn 3 Noble Phantasm to round out the time. But that is really the only thing that's holding me back right now. This is just a typical example of buster farming. There are plenty of other ways you can buster farm more reliably with some powerful characters, though this does normally require a double Koyanskaya, a 50% charge CE, aerial drive being the main focus that a lot of people use for the most common setup, and the plug suit, so you can swap out your Koyanskaya for Oberon to be able to use him on the final turn. So double Koyanskaya, Oberon, aerial drive, and a powerful servant like, for example, Gilgamesh are going to be your main focus for the most powerful Koyanskaya farming setup. However, you can still get by off of double Koyanskaya and a K-scope and an Atlas Mystic Code, as I have shown you in this example. Craft essences for Koyanskaya are an incredibly easy pick. We are going to go with something like, say, the Bond CE. Yes, you're using your Koyanskaya to farm. Eke out as much Bond as you possibly can by using your Koyanskaya. And set up your friend point Koyanskayas with some Bond CEs as well, so you can farm all of those friend points that you need. You can also, of course, equip her with any of your necessary event CEs to get additional drops. She is a prime candidate for that. And if you're sending her out to go ahead and help fight a boss, for example, give her pretty much anything that grants critical stars every single turn. Because of her NFF special skill, those stars are going to flow into your primary damage dealer's buster cards, and you are going to relive the early glory days of FGO where red card wins every single time. And finally, command codes. For command codes, pure support. We are going pure support on Koyanskaya. Yes, you can use her for damage, but you're not going to. You're going to use her to supplement your main damage dealer. Hero of the Endowed is a great pick, granting 3 critical stars that your main damage dealer is going to be able to eat. You can also go ahead and heal your entire party with something like Bride of the White Rose, recovering the whole party's HP. Everyone's Da Vinci Chan is of course a popular option. If you don't have a Castoria and you're not actively using this on her to get some NP refund, you can also throw this on a Koyanskaya as well, since you are not reliant on hitting overkill damage to get your NP refund. This will just be a little additional insurance to make sure your AoE Noble Phantasm absolutely murders everyone in its path. Overall, gang, if you have a buster servant that you really want to farm with, Koyanskaya is going to be an absolute must pull. She is one of the best characters that has ever been released on this game, and she is a prime example of power creep in its absolute purest form. It makes sense that she's been our enemy for all of this time, because look at that amount of power. I'm surprised we get to wield this amount of power in our hands. Seriously, if you are on the fence about summoning for Koyanskaya at all, she is absolutely worth worth going for, in addition to Oberon to round out the Buster farming setup. But as I've said, the problem that we encounter here is that the Buster farming setup is expensive. We require 2 5-star servants that are completely 10-10-10. It might not be something you're going to be ready to do right away, but once you do finally get the Buster farming setup going, have the double Koyanskaya, have the Oberon, you are going to find yourself the most reliable way to farm in FGO, period, and you are going to save yourself a ton of headache. Seriously, as someone who is just close to being able to reach that potential myself, as I am in Assassin Gem Hell, I can tell you, once I finally hit that point and can finally 3-turn and don't have to worry about NP refund rate, it's gonna be so worth it. But as always, I want to know what you think, so let me know your thoughts on Koyanskaya of Light down in the comments section below. Let me know who your favorite servant to use for Buster farming is. Do you follow the freebie Coup Caster option, or do you have a more premium option that you are using, like say Gilgamesh or Tomlin Lancelot? Go ahead and let me know down below who your pinnacle Buster farmer is. As you're heading down to the comments section, be sure to go ahead and check out the Discord, check out the Patreon, check out the Ko-fi. Huge thanks to everyone on all of those platforms, and of course a huge thanks to all of you here on YouTube. If it wasn't for your support, I wouldn't continue making these videos, so I sincerely do appreciate it. And of course, a big thank you to everyone who stopped by the recent support review stream we had. We had about 130 people watching at the same time, which is the most I've ever had watching a stream concurrently on my channel. So big shout out to all of you. Thank you for making that night super duper special. Anyways, gang, that's it for me, Kawaii50. I hope you all have a phenomenal day. I will see you all in the next video.